Defining yourself while still in school in Africa is one of the most challenging aspects to most of the youths around the continent. Agapto Akampura, a Makerere University student, starts to define his path as a writer. Like the other old students, the likes of Ngongi Washanga.
My name is Agapto Akampura. I'm a fourth-year student of journalism and communication at Makerere University. I am passionate about writing. I do short stories. I do poetry, yeah, and other literature.
Okay, no problem.
Yeah, so I draw my writing from Ngugi wa Thiong'o, who published a book, Weep No Child, when he was a student at Makerere University. Yeah, I published a book titled The Betrayed Village. It's my first, but it is aimed at changing the livelihoods of the youth and maybe warning them about the risk of drug abuse and maybe HIV/AIDS. I come from Misinjo district, only that right now I'm staying in Mbara. That's where I stay. Yeah, but I've been passionate about writing. I began when I was in senior 1 at Mbara High School. But since then, I've never stopped writing. I've kept on pushing, and here I am today, an author of the novella, The Betrayed Village. Yeah, so I draw my inspiration from Ngugi wa Thiong'o and Chinua Achebe, who have used their knowledge to educate the Africans about the richness of African literature.
Changing community stands out as the main focus with his writings.
Actually, my writing is centered about changing the livelihoods of my fellow age mates or the youth. How do I want to change their lives? I would like to change the way they perceive society to be. If you're to see The Betrayed Village, it talks about the risk of HIV/AIDS and drug abuse. Yeah, so I am very sure if a person of my age buys a copy, they will be able to see how HIV is no longer a deadly disease, or maybe how best they can desist from carrying on such bad habits such as drug abuse, alcoholism, smoking. Yeah, so and also in my next book titled Mold, I'm trying to educate the society about the danger of bad politics or bad leaders and how best a person can be a good leader and impact change as a good leader in society rather than maybe having dictatorial tendencies and all that.
The good thing about this book, The Betrayed Village by Agapto Akampura, it's because it exposes us to life, how life is, and if you don't take care, what may happen. Hence, it helps us to be careful and then know the repercussions and be careful with the decisions we make in life.
He also looks forward to be one of the greatest writers on the African continent.
I want to be considered as one of the greatest writers in Africa and maybe in the entire world. Because if you're to see, for example, my book, The Betrayed Village, it's all over Amazon. I have had copies, and people have engaged with me. People who have read the book, be it in Uganda and also other parts of the world. So I want, for example, in the next 10 years, to be one of the greatest writers on this continent. How? By hinting on the topics that burden us, or which are part of us, maybe politics, social affairs. Yeah, such topics, and I'm very sure if I do that, I'll be considered as one of the greatest writers in Africa or even the whole world.
Urges the government to put in place things like competition, writing clubs, to empower passionate writers, change communities.
I think first of all, it's the role of the government. The government should come out with strategies on how best they can empower passionate writers. They can start up maybe book clubs. Yeah, maybe writing competitions, where these young writers can come out and compete and maybe learn writing skills, from which they can develop their literary work. I'm very sure if the government did that, very many people would come out to showcase their skills and maybe develop more passion about writing. Yeah, so I personally believe it's the role of the government to come out and sensitize the youth or any other writers not to give up on their dreams, but rather to come out and reveal to us how best we can get empowered.
I think they should commercialize literature, and also people should engage in reading, because the more you read, the more you know. Yeah, so people should really engage in reading to know more. People should actually appreciate these authors. Awards should be put in place so that they can be appreciated and motivated as well. And also people should really support them. They shouldn't bargain too much. They should buy them knowing that it is going to be of a great impact in our society.
Is maybe the writers. The writers themselves, they must find out their skills in them. They should be able to explore them. Everyone should be able to write, no matter how small your work is. Yeah, it starts with one word, and one word forms a sentence. By the time you know it, you have formed a paragraph, and that paragraph can be a chapter. So if you started writing one word today, I'm very sure if you test yourself maybe writing 500 words in a week or a month, in a period of 1 year, you have come up with maybe a novella or a novel. Yeah, so everyone is a writer, and it doesn't matter what you're writing about. You can write about maybe your personal life, your experiences, the day-to-day things that affect us as students, as youth, as Ugandans. There are very many. Yeah, you can write about politics, social affairs, or anything that perturbs you as a youth or as a Ugandan.
With the inspiration from greatest African writers like Chinua Achebe, Ngugi wa Thiong'o sparked his journey of writing.
Actually, my best African writers, the first one is Ngugi wa Thiong'o and Chinua Achebe, but I will begin with Ngugi wa Thiong'o. He has tried to develop literature as in the form of the Kenyan in the form of Gikuyu language. He has promoted the African languages in his literature. If you see his book, for example, Devil on the Cross, he wrote it in Gikuyu, only later for it to be translated in English. So I draw my inspiration from Ngugi wa Thiong'o, who has hinted most on the topics that by that time affected Kenyans. You can see Weep No Child, it was widely read, and other novels of his. Yeah, so I draw my inspiration from Ngugi because he has been able to develop literature and also his African language, that is Gikuyu. And maybe to say Chinua Achebe, he has come out to show us how best we can survive, even when we are alone as Africans. We do not have to depend on the whites. If you read his book, Things Fall Apart, it depicts the role of colonialism on dragging us behind. Yeah, so I draw my inspiration from Chinua Achebe and Ngugi wa Thiong'o, whose work has been able to build Africans to the right direction in as far as literature is concerned.
Though he has been inspired by several writers across Africa, but still in Uganda, he looks at writers like Kankwenza Rukirabashaija.
My best writer in Uganda is Kankwenza Rukirabashaija, though that despite the fact that right now he's not in the country, but I draw much inspiration from him. Why? Because if you see, for example, his book, The Greedy Barbarian, he talked about the dictatorships in African governments, but it was so disappointing that the Ugandan government came out to maul him and torture him that he had to flee our country. Yeah, I've read most of his books, Banana Republic, Where Writing is Treasonous, and maybe The Savage Avenger. He tries to show us that the pen is mightier than the gun, that through literature we can be able to transform our society in a way we want us to be. That literature can be a form of self-liberation. It can be a tool of change. It can even be mightier than the gun. So I would like to credit Kankwenza Rukirabashaija for coming out boldly, to step out and take on the mantle to write and maybe share his work with the rest of the world. I draw my inspiration from him because most of his work is actually depicting on the day-to-day events in the Ugandan society and maybe the world at large.
He says publishing has created employment opportunities.
I personally think publishing is it has created employment opportunities. I can say, for example, Simuche Daniel, the CEO, Iconic Publications, he's a student here at Mackay University. He's a student at SEDAT, but he owns a publishing house under which he's a CEO. So I can say writing and publication itself has created employment opportunities. I myself, I employ some people whom I work with and pay them some money. These include people who make sure that my books are sold. Those people who work on the publicity, who deliver books, I also pay them. So I can say that maybe writing itself, it can be a source of employment opportunities. Even publishing itself, it can be a source of employment opportunities. We have seen very many people come out to publish books, very many people coming out to start up publishing companies. Yeah, so I cannot take it lightly that this sector, it can actually bring out very many employment opportunities. to the youth and maybe to Ugandans at large.
Due to positive feedback and demand from fellow students and the public, this has encouraged him not to stop writing and do a lot after reading the book, The Betrayed Village.
As you know, this is my second reprint. I'd like to assure the entire public that when I published this book, it sold out like a hot cake as soon as it was published. Yeah, so this positive feedback gave me the urge to reprint it. Yeah, so as we speak now, this is the second reprint, and students have been very positive. Starting from my classmates, they have bought the copies, and all Makereyans, they have been able to purchase the book, and they have always given me feedback, positive feedback, urging me to read on and push on, and maybe they have even encouraged me to work hard and maybe publish other copies in future. So it's not a matter I can take with slightly. Yeah, I would like to appreciate their tireless efforts and maybe their continued feedback and maybe support they have rendered to me, be it financially, be it social, and maybe in any form they have tried to push me and maybe to encourage me to keep on writing.
I think what I can say is that they should follow this book and then they learn lessons from there according to the characters. If this character misbehaved and then later wanted a short sweet life, and later is going to regret in life, then they should embrace and make informed decisions. They should make informed decisions because according to the book, it is teaching us to be careful. It is teaching us that actually AIDS is there and it kills and it is still surviving in the people. So you as the student of Makerere University, as the society, we should know that actually that vice is there and we should actually fight against it. That is through abstinence, through taking ARVs, and also through using condoms in order to stop the spread of that vice that is eating the society.
Focusing on the community, his most and outstanding book, The Betrayed Village, he pins out a story of two school-going pupils portraying challenges a girl and a boy child face in Africa, basically those who are into the village.
The Betrayed Village is a story of two schoolgirls, Tayewa and Kulu, who pursue an academic career, but it's so unfortunate that they do not complete their academic journey. First of all, Tayewa contracts HIV/AIDS, yeah, but because of high continued escapism to bars and clubs where she meets in Simba, a lad in his 20s who infects her with HIV/AIDS. Yeah, these two guys are from a rural background of Kataka, but their journey begins when they are too close, when they are friends. They start from Kataka Primary School, when they are too passionate about school and very friendly to one another. But when they reach secondary school, Busibo College, their dreams begin to shatter. When Tayewa contracts HIV/AIDS, she's not determined to take her medication. Yeah, so she distances herself from her long-time friend Kulu, and at the end of it all, she commits suicide by hanging. Yeah, so at the later stage, also Tayewa and also Kulu thinks that she is the one to blame because her friend has passed on or has passed away. Yeah, so at the later stage, she also ends her life mysteriously. And that's where I drew my title, The Betrayed Village, because first of all, the natives of Kataka village had entrusted or had hopes in them that at a later stage they would liberate them. But what happens at the end of it all, they have betrayed themselves, their parents, their village mates, and everyone in society. They are the ones to blame because they do not meet their academic goals and journeys.
This book is actually, it is a life-changing book to me because it really exposed me to life that if you are not serious as a girl child, it is like we are delicate. So we have to be careful with whatever we are doing because any single mistake you make in your youthhood or your childhood may affect you. Actually, it may hinder your future, and it can be ruined, because when you try to see some of the characters, they actually died. So that means even your life can end from there.